Hi everyone, how are you today? It's Thursday here in Australia. What about you? It's Wednesday there, I'm sure, if you're in the USA. So let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm excited to get started on another DIY project today, here for Essential Stencil as one of their brand ambassadors. So I'm Sharon from the blog I Restore Stuff, and I love to upcycle furniture and home decor by painting it or refinishing it, staining it, all of the things. And sometimes I even use some essential stencils on my furniture projects, so that's a lot of fun. So let me know when you get here. Pop your name in there in the comments so I can see. Hi Brenda from Kentucky. Hi Dawn, how are you going guys? It's sunny here. Obviously we're kind of heading into summer and you guys are heading into winter over there. So let's have a look at the Stencil of the Month Club for December stencils. So if you're in the Stencil of the Month Club, why don't you give me a little wave, let me know, I'm in the club, I'm in the club. So we've got links to all of the things that you need to know for this live in the description right up there of how to join the Stencil of the Month Club. And if you use my code I Restore Stuff, you'll get 50% off your first month. So there's a few days left to get the December stencil, which was designed by the lovely Grace from the Comfy Nest. So hi Kimberly from East Tennessee. You're all jumping on now. That's exciting. Hey guys, let's see how many people we can get on here today. Don't forget to share. So I've got my little share sign to remind you all. We'd love you to sprinkle the love among your friends, tag someone. Yes, Dawn's in the club, Jack is in the club. Starting to see all the people who are in the Stencil of the Month Club. So you will already know about this design, but I'm going to show you some fun ways of using it if you haven't used it yet, and maybe we'll entice some other people to join the club because it really is great value. You get a stencil set every month, not just one stencil. There's like 3 in a set. So let me just show you Grace's design for this month. Here's the cover, and it gives you a gorgeous example of how to use the set. Yeah, lots of people having fun over there. Lots of inspiration too each time. Now I'll turn that over so we can see the background. Here's one of the main ones, is this gorgeous little hexagonal kind of a wreath, and then blessed mess, try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud, a little quote by Maya Angelou. And then, so there's not just one, there's 3. So let me show you all 3. Then there's some words, and of course they all connect and go together. So these words you can fit in among the wreath right here. So there's also some more to go on the wreath. So there's words here, you can see all those. Hey y'all, choose happy. Hey there, hello, so blessed. I'm going to get you to help me choose some words today, okay guys? Because I was tossing up between a couple of different ones. And then I'll put the black background on there. There's these floral designs that will go onto the top of the wreath, as in the examples there. So you can kind of see, you could pop that on the top, on the side. Oops, I'm doing the wrong way. The flowers on the side, on the top, all the things. So that's just the stencil set. Then every month in the Stencil of the Month Club, you get the option whether to add the add-on. Now here's the add-on design. Can you tell what that is? It is faux wood grain. So we've got fake wood grain here, guys, in the form of a stencil. Is that genius or what? So there's so many times you probably have just a plain blank board. This will even work on MDF, you know, your particle board type stuff that doesn't have any grain in it, or even just plain pine painted up. And then that's what I'm going to be using today, is just some plain pine wood painted up white. And then we're going to use a fake wood grain on there. So I'll show you how to do that first, hey? So yes, the add-ons are always really top value. And of course, we can use that as a background for our stencil. So I'm going to point the camera down here. Yes. Sonia says, haven't used that stencil yet, except for the wood grain. Yeah, so she's used the add-on as a fun background for probably lots of things. So we're going to be playing around with this, changing up some different things, and I might also add in some other stencils from other months from previous year, which you can also get. Did you know if you're in the Stencil of the Month Club, you still have access to their prior months in the little shop button, that shop tab at the top of the stencilofthemonthclub.com website. If you log in there, you can get those. So even if you're not in the Stencil of the Month Club, I would have a little look at stencilofthemonthclub.com. Have a look at all the stencils there that you will have access to if you join. So let me just pop my camera down. Don't forget, guys. Okay, so here's me practicing and having a little practice on a piece of paper of some fake wood grain, etc., so that I could be a little bit practiced up today. Okay, so we've got the wood grain. I've got 2 boards I'm going to do it on. So I've just painted them white. This one's got a little chip out of it, a ding. It's quite kind of rustic anyway. So we've got a few different wood grains along here. And you can do it, you know, you can extend it. So we've got this space here. So I'll show you sort of how to join it all together if you like. So I'm going to start probably... Let me start this. Let's turn it around because that might be easier. Start this kind of at the bottom here. Yep. Let's just go this way. Right, I'm sorted. So I'm going to ignore just that part there because I want to bring that a little bit closer. I may even just get this design and redo it on the top. So if you've never done the wood grain, if you haven't done that yet, here's a demo of how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to be using just a light, kind of a grey colour to highlight those details because I don't want to go too dark because I'm going to use this for a background. I'm going to use dark words on there. So I didn't want it to be too busy for the words to be able to show through there. Okay, so I'm just going to drop a little bit of grey, oops, too much maybe, onto a lid. And I really only need maybe a medium brush. So this is the stencil, Essential Stencils stencil brushes. They're also available. So if you get anything from the essentialstencil.com general website, use my code iRestoreStuff for 10% off anything in the shop. Okay, so just being careful with some of these things because all of the grains of the wood are kind of going along, acrossways. I'm just going to, instead of doing my normal swirling method, I'm going to go a little bit more back and forth today. And this isn't as light a grey as I thought it was. It's a little bit darker, but that's okay. Hopefully my charcoal-y colour. Oh guys, I'm thinking I need to get a little bit more on the brush because the lines are so fine. And a little bit more stippling. And these would be the joins that you would find in normal wood boards. I've kind of made this one go off the edge. I did it on purpose because it kind of looks like a join and I didn't want it to actually be a join right there. And of course, if you wanted to, you could tape your edges down here to make it a bit more stable. Hi guys, thank you so much for saying hello as you come in. I love it. Now don't forget we've got prizes again today for this live, so stay tuned. Love you to join in the conversation. Let me know if you're in the Stencil of the Month Club. Was it last month? I think it was Thanksgiving. No, it was Black Friday. They had some fun selfie competition right there in the group, in the Stencil of the Month Club group. That was hilarious, lots of fun. Lots of fun selfies being taken. Bronwyn's working on her collection. Okay, I think I've already, there's a little piece here that's kind of just sticking up, so you've just got to be careful of those little tiny pieces. Like I said before, I'm going to have to really work this one a bit harder because the brush is having a bit of a hard time getting down into those grooves. So you just have to practice a little bit, see how much you do need on your brush, because sometimes you may need a little bit more than just regular stencils. Let me have a little look. It's not too bad, and it doesn't matter too much if it's looking quite a little bit rustic and not so solid in colour. So here in this centre we've got what looks like would be a fake joining of the wood boards together. So we're going to try and get that little bit more solid. There we go. See, I see that you're all telling me where you're from, all over the USA. Is there anyone from Australia there yet? Brenda's still waiting for her Stencil of the Month Club for December. Yay, Brenda, I bet you will think of some amazing ideas to do, to use it for. Lots of inspiration, as I said, in the Stencil of the Month Club Facebook group. Those people in there come up with some fantastic ideas. Okay, so there's a knot in the wood. I love that they've designed this, Grace's design. We've got a little knot in the wood right there. This would have been very tricky to kind of design out and have all those little bridges so that it makes sure that they're all, you know, joined together and all of that kind of thing. Okay. Doing a little bit of smushing, a little bit of pouncing, a little bit of everything here today. Normally I just do a little bit of swirling, but I'm finding that just a little bit more work involved in getting this. Now, as I'm looking at it, and I can't show you super close, but it doesn't look too much like I've given it a real solid coverage. I can see some gaps in here, but I want to just lift it up and give you a peek. I'm holding it really still. See how it still looks a bit like wood grain. Now I've got some pieces that are, in fact I think I'll just leave it at that. Lift that up and I'll bring it up closer so you can kind of see. So some areas are a little bit more, solid than others. See how you can still see where it looks like I haven't painted it properly, but I feel like that's okay because look at that. It's still, from a distance, it's going to be a background, so it still looks like fake wood grain there, and it's looking great. So, what I'm going to do now, I'd imagine there'd be 1, 2, 3 boards in this, for example. So what I want to do is, maybe I'll use this one here. Perfect. So there's another lot up here, and I'll use that as kind of like a oh, hang on, changing my mind again. Look at that. All right, so we've got a join right here along the bottom of this one. So I'm going to use that as a join and kind of line it up with this join, and then we've got our third board up the top there. Again, using our grey. Swirling, smushing, kind of going along the lines this time, to make sure we can get it all in there. And I'm just using a chalk paint today, just an Australian brand chalk paint. And Essential Stencil has popped the link for the Stencil of the Month Club up there in the pinned comment. It's also in the description of the live. And if you use my code IRestoreStuff, you'll get 50% off your first month. So if those are still thinking about it, now's a good opportunity to use that code and jump on in the club. Different designs every month. Sometimes they're themed towards a season. And today I'll be using a few of the other designs from other months in previous years. I want to make a Christmassy kind of sign in a minute. Let's see how much we get done today, hey? How about Melissa's live the other day, trying to make a record for how many stencil sets she can use in one live. That's crazy. She's so funny. She did a great job. If you missed that one, you can see all of the lives in the Essential Stencil video section. So you can always just hit on the video tab, and they've categorized our videos into, there's even some Christmas themed ones in there that if you're looking for a stencil set in particular, you could always do a search for that particular design in the search bar on Facebook, on the Facebook page, and see if it brings up that particular stencil, people's inspiration for it. So yeah, you can see any of our past lives in the video section. Just hit on the video tab. You can find them there. All right, so there we go. There's our third board. So see how they're all kind of slightly different? Now moving across to this side, this is going to be a join here, as if you're, you know, the planks of wood have been joined in that section. And then I'm going to just kind of flip this around. Oh, or will I? Or should I make it go back this way? I think I'll make it go, I'll do it a little bit backwards. So I'm going to make this one that doesn't have the join. See, this is that join on the edge here. Because we've already got a join here, I'm going to just butt this up close, but not so close there. There we go. And just add on to that. This was going to be my practice board for this morning. I was going to do this one as well, but we'll just, since this is taking a while, just go ahead and do it on this one. You can always make some more later. So if you notice, I'm doing a little bit of pouncing and I'm moving the brush kind of one way in a direction with the grain, as you would when you're painting or you're staining and things like that. If any of you follow my blog, I'm at irestorestuff.com. You can find my furniture painting tips and tutorials there. I've got a YouTube channel where I show you lots of DIYs. You can look up I Restore Stuff there. And today I've posted my Instagram link too, up in the description of the live here, with my Facebook page also. All of the places. On Instagram I like to do stories and a little bit of behind the scenes kind of stuff. There we go. Another, so this is this ending up here, kind of repeated down here, and we've got a little bit of a border line there. But you see how you can just kind of play around with it, do all kinds of different things. I think we'll do, I might just even go ignore that half and just do this part here, and we'll have another knot here, won't we? Which is this knot down here. So I'm kind of switching it up a bit. And you could tape this off up here. I'm just going to be very careful to just stay this side of that grey line that I've got down there. Whoop, hang on, that's not going to work. What have I done? Now I've got my board joining up too high. That's okay, I can't move it now. I'm started, I've committed. Oh guys, so my line's going to be a bit crooked, but hey, sometimes I'm really, let's just say this is a really, really old barn that Grandpa's grandpa built way back before he had a measuring stick and before he could line up the barn wood. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, getting a little bit rough here with my stencil. Anyone else have impatience sometimes? Okay, I'm missing half your comments, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, thank you so much, Christine, for sprinkling. She's sharing the live. Okay, so moving down here. We are doing, if you've just joined us, we are doing some fake barn wood, no, it's wood grain, fake wood grain that Grace designed the December Stencil of the Month Club design. And in among it, this is the add-on for the Stencil of the Month Club stencil set. So if you've just joined us, that's what we're working on here today. I'll show you the other pieces for the main part of the stencil set for December. It involves a wreath, it involves some words, some fun words, some greetings. And I need you to help me to choose what words to put on my sign today. I did a little survey poll over on my own Facebook page, I Restore Stuff. And so far there's one that's kind of just ahead of the other in my poll, and they're so they're very similar. All right, so see how I just kind of skipped it? You can't tell, can you? Hey, really? It looks great, right? Am I right? Doesn't it look good? I love the fake board, the barnwood look. So again, you could shift this to the center and have your lines here and here. It's totally up to you. You can kind of play around with that. So I've got two boards there, but I might leave that one today, and let's get started on our words here. Now, if you are, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that grey again, so I'm just going to put that in a wet cloth. And so the next thing I was going to do, and I'll wash that off later, is add some words and some of this wreath floral flowers. Let's see which way I should go. I've got that ding right down here, which kind of fits in with the rest of the knots and things and grains in the board. So I'll show you quickly, those who have just joined, we are using the Stencil of the Month Club design. Oops, it's around the wrong way. We've got this wreath kind of design with blessed mess on the bottom, and it comes with these flowers that you can use to, you know, combine with the wreath. So they'll sit on top of the wreath or at the side or whichever. I'm going to be using this board here to show you in just a minute. We'll get another sign done using this board here. In fact, why don't I'll just start on that while that is dry, but while I just set that aside. I like this plain light wood background, okay? So if you've just joined, I have just showed you the fake wood grain. Yeah, the add-on is really fun. So now I'm going to use this wreath. It's kind of like, you know, a few sticks kind of bound and wound together. So I wanted to do something fun with that today. I'm going to make it front and like totally centered on my design. Actually, I'll pop it down slightly because I want to put something floral up here, but I'll show you that in a minute. And I will use a white. So today I'm just going to use a Fusion Mineral Paint Casement, which is one of their brightest whites. And all I need is one of the little skinny tiny brushes for this one, because it's just very narrow, really, the whole stencil. So once again, holding down really still, I'm moving it down sort of slightly so I can leave some room for some flowers at the top. And once again, because similar to the wood grain going across ways, I'm doing a little bit less swirling and more smooshing across. Look, I am going to tape this because I feel like it's about to move on me. Because I have a little bit of room up there, I'll just put a bit of painter's tape on that area. Charlene said, I didn't line mine up. Sometimes a little impatient to see the end result. Oh, I know, I hear you. Okay, taping that down so that it's not going to go walking anywhere. Dipping, we offload as much as we can. This is kind of looking a little greyish, so I'm probably painting this on actual raw wood grain, and the paint is being really soaked up in there, so I might have to go a little bit heavier, but being really super careful not to let that bleed under, because it's probably better not to be impatient on these kind of things, because if we put too much paint on our brush and think, I just want to get it heavier and make one coat rather than go back and do the second coat, then we can get bleeding underneath the stencil, and it turns out like a bit of a mess. But as this sign says, look at that, blessed mess. It will be a blessed mess. This kind of could be my stenciling today, a blessed mess. Okay, so just being super careful to a little bit of pouncing, a little bit of going along the lines in this grain. Can anyone hear the coffee machine going in the background? My husband's making a coffee. It's making all the espresso sounds. Does that make you hungry for a coffee now, people? Tricia says she did a 6-foot sign today. I felt like she would never get it done. That's huge. Yeah, some of the vertical signs look fantastic. But yes, have patience. Okay, now that this is it's pretty much dry on this side, I'm just going to go over that with that second coat, because it felt like it was soaking into the wood grain. So this is another tip for if you're painting directly onto wood grain. It can soak up because you're doing that first coat. It's almost like you're priming the first coat, so it would be probably good to have a wood conditioner or a primer that you can put on first, but one that's going to easily take the water-based paint that you're probably using for your craft and things. So, okay, let's see what that looks like. I'll have a peek. Oh yeah, that's looking great. Okay, so what I want to do There it is. So see that? I want to add this and twist it around and add another dimension to this. So that it kind of looks like, you know, the twine that you see, those twine wreaths that wrap around. So I'm going to move that slightly to the side and make it a little bit more I don't know, it's just got lots of facets to it then, hasn't it? So let me see, so I'm just kind of lining up that as in the points were going out like this, so now we're going like this, and then you just do it again. And so that will go over some of those parts that we've already stenciled. You can see them peeking through there. And so you just go straight over those, and the paint will probably be a little bit thicker in those areas too, so that's okay. It'll give it that, you know, three-dimensional kind of a look. So if you've just joined us, we're using December's Stencil of the Month Club stencil, designed by one of our ambassadors, Grace. And this is just one part of the stencil, so it's got 3 parts to the stencil, including flowers that go on the wreaths, including words that you can use for in between. So in the centre of the wreath, you can add your words there. I can't wait to see some other fun ideas for using this wreath, you know, because it's a beautiful pattern and it would look good. I'm trying to think of some other creative ways that we could use it. Oops, little bristle from my brush. Okay, almost done. And there we go. So there's just the wreath part for this sign. And then I'm going to go back to my signboard here, my fake wood grain. And I'll add a flower from this stencil design onto the top of that. So let's just have a look how that turned out. So now we've got sort of lots of multifaceted, and you could keep going, you know, you could do that again and again and just kind of keep going around there till you've got lots of you know, little intertwined, it almost, I want to say cane or twigs that kind of look like it's twig-like moving around in there. I don't know. That was my thought anyway. So, and that's what I did on here. So that was my practice piece of how I did that. So don't forget, guys, if you know someone who likes watching DIYs, send them this link. All right, here is our wood grain that we started before. And so I'm not going to be using white on this. I may use white again in a second, so I'm going to put that in my wet cloth. But I want to use one of these florals. So here are the 3 different florals that came with the set. So there's a few different ways that you can use these. You can use them across the top. So I'm going to add words. You could use them across the top, or you could use them along the side like this, spraying out like that, which is maybe how I will use this one today. So I thought of using this one. I don't usually use lots of colours in my stenciling, do I? Have you noticed? I'm kind of a bit of a farmhousey look style girl. But today I'm going to use colours, guys. I thought... Hi Tricia, thank you so much for sprinkling, that's lovely. Grapevine wreath, Karen. Yes, that's the words I was thinking of. All right, so, I kind of automatically want to go up to the left and then words to the right here. It could fit with words down here like this, but I don't know, I just wanted to try this. So we're going to go with green and some yellow today for our flowers and greenery. And then I've got to choose between some words here that I thought. Now, I did put a little poll on my Facebook page, I Restore Stuff, and I wanted people to choose from Blessed Mess, or choose happy. So those were the words that I was going to go with. So if you can choose between, if you could choose for your own home between choose happy or blessed mess, what would you put for a sign in your house? And there are obviously more great choices there. I don't know, guys. I'm feeling like it has to go over here because of all those knots there, you know? So that's what I'm just going to do. And this green, I'm going to use another stencil brush, just dapping it in there. Is the wood grain pattern hard to clean? Well, I'm about to find out. Actually, I did practice yesterday and it wasn't too bad. I just use a little very soft green scrubby in the sink with running water. I sit it there and soak it for a little bit first. I don't know if you call it a scrubby, and you know what I'm talking about, those little green scourers. Okay, going with the green, and I want to do this yellow, the flower yellow. So we'll just see how this green goes first, because sometimes this green is quite a vibrant green, and so it can be a little bit translucent, and we may need a bit of extra coverage on a second coat. So we'll see how we go with that. Once again, we could tape this down so that it's not got a chance of moving about anywhere. Now my paint has dried here, so that's a good thing. And so it shouldn't peel off as we go. But let's just go with this. Always offload your brushes. And I'm just doing a little pounce and then squiggle, pounce and then wiggle. Wiggle, squiggle, smush. I've got some leaves. These probably look like little berries, so probably they could be red or something else, but hey, just going with this for right now. Now I've got my flower there. I'm not worried too much if I do get it, because I'm going to go over that with yellow, but I'm just being kind of just a little bit careful. Now you could also use a piece of paper, say for example, here we go, here's my example paper. Could use a piece of paper and just cover the flower up a little bit so that we don't get it. And then if the brush goes on anything, it'll go on the paper. So, whoops, got a bit too much. Bit too carried away with that. Don't think I offloaded that properly, so I'm just going to do a little pouncing, and I won't swirl it right away because I think that I've probably got a bit of bleeding under that. A little wiggle. Now you'll be able to tell if it's still translucent by I can still see some wood grain showing through the green, but you can always just give it a little look. See what it looks like. Hope that I haven't got some messy bleeding under there. And I've got this taped down, so we'll just kind of lift that and have a little look. So there we go. I do maybe just a touch of too thick in this area here, but that's okay. I think we're okay with that. And it does stand out above the grey, so that's okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe just go over this little bit here one more time. This is furniture paint and it dries very quickly, so I'm just going to go over that second time. But usually when you're doing a second coat, you would make sure that that first coat is really dry, because sometimes if you do it too soon, it actually pulls that first coat away instead of going on a second coat. So just, there's a tip for you if you're painting furniture or anything like that. So now I'm going to go on and do the yellow. This is just a chalk paint, so I'm just using a couple of different furniture paints because that's what I use, that's what I have on hand, so that's what we're going with today. Just tip a little bit into a lid. And I only need the tiniest bit. In fact, I could even just, I think I'm running out of stencil brushes here. Oh yeah, there is some in the lid. I think I'll go with that. I may need to. Now that could go over to the green, so like I said, we can cover up the leaf to make sure it doesn't. Make sure it's only, yep, I'm going to have to tip some out onto here. You know what, I'll probably colour in those leaves actually, so, oh, I Looks a little bit runny, like I haven't shaken the bottle well enough. So these are just kind of outlines, and then I might go in and fill in the flower with a small paintbrush. So don't be too worried if it's not filled in properly here. And I'm going back over this way to make sure I don't go over into the leaves on this side. Yep. So these are some fun things that you could also do with your kids on the holidays as it comes up to... See, in Australia we have our summer holidays now, so all the kids are off school and we have our 8 weeks of holidays all over Christmas time. So for us, Christmas holidays is like your summer holidays where everyone's at home for a long period of time. So the parents are always looking for fun things for their kids to do on vacation. So there we go, there's our flower. So I just have to grab maybe a small brush and I can fill that in. We can fill in our flower by just like that. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so we can see the definition. And if you can't see that definition, you could always go over it with a bit of an outline, like a Sharpie or something like that. So that's all it takes, is just a little bit of brush to fill that in. Does anyone else fill in their stencils? Some people actually fill in the bridges for their lines, for their stencil lines. I like to leave just a little, I'm trying to leave just a little white gap so that you can see the definition of that centre. You could also, create a different colour for that centre, a brown, or mix the yellow with some green or something. This isn't a bright yellow. It's an artisan chalk paint, and it's called Provencal. Got lots of French names for their paint range. Okay, I went a bit close. Let's see if I can make a little white gap here. Yes, you can make the yellow a little lighter. Could make it a little lighter with adding a bit of white to it. So many different ideas you could do with this whole set of stencils. And what I might do is I'll see if I can mix a bit of that yellow with the green that I just poured out, or that I just had on my brush. See if that'll work. I've got a little bit of green over here. See if it makes a bit of a green colour. Just makes it a little bit of a darker tone just for that centre part there. So then I'm just going to speckle that a bit. It's my sound effects, guys. There we go. Adding a little bit of a centre into that. So there's our floral part. Now, did we choose the words? I haven't been watching, so I had a choice for you guys between choose happy and blessed mess. How was the, I've got to look at it again, so now I'm not seeing. So we're choosing between choose happy, which is, so we've got blessed mess, or here's all the words, or choose happy. Here it is, choose happy. I like that one. It's got hey y'all, hey there, hello, so blessed. So we've got blessed mess or choose happy. I kind of think choose happy is larger, kind of goes a bit bigger. We could do hello. We go hello, choose happy. That kind of makes sense too. Choose happy or blessed mess. What are we going with, guys? Someone said choose happy. Choose happy. Someone else, let's see, choose happy. Can't see any blessed mess yet, so it looks like choose happy might be the winner. I'm kind of scrolling through your comments there to have a little look. Let me just pop this in some water. Okay, so I think we'll come with that. Okay, Diane's coming in late from Georgia. Diane, we are working on the Stencil of the Month Club stencil for December that was designed by Grace. So we've got, we're going with Choose Happy, I believe. That's kind of larger, makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to do it on this line here, I think. I think that would be a good spacing, although it kind of feels like it needs to come down a bit. Never mind, it's just paint, that's what I say. Now I've got to find something that's a lot darker and heavier to be able to cover up and stand out and really pop. I could actually, what I might do is do a little shadow technique, because you guys often love to figure out how we do that. I often get questions about how do you do that shadowing thing again, so I'm going to show you right now. So I might make yellow, this yellow right here, the shadow, and my flower has dried, so it's all good. So this will kind of help it to pop out a little bit because it'll give it a bit of definition. So we're just going to sit that Choose Happy right there on the line. I'm going to grab my yellow, offload, offload, offload. And I'm just going to paint the whole entire word with word. It's 2 words. I know that. Okay, I know this. All right, so we're doing the Choose Happy with that yellow that we did the flower with. And it doesn't matter that it's really not solid. It's just got to look, at least the edges have to look crisp, because it's going to be the edge on the bottom. I'm going to make it the bottom right is going to be the shadow that pops out. And then I'm going to put a darker colour. So when you're doing shadowing, you always use 2 contrasting colours. So for this one, we've got the yellow as a light colour, and I'm going to use a charcoal, like a dark, it's like a really, really dark grey, as the contrasting colour to go on top. And if you've not seen shadowing before, you'll notice that it really will make the letters pop out of the, because we've got a busy background. I probably could have done that, the fake wood grain that I've got there in the background, I probably could have done that even a shade lighter of that grey that I did use. I thought it was light enough, because in the bottle, let me just show you the bottle. It looks like, hey, yeah, that's a light grey, but let's see. It looks like light grey, it probably looks darker on the camera now, but now I'm going to use this even darker grey to do the lettering after I've done the yellow shadow. So you can do it back the other way. You could make the shadow and the white and the lighter colour popping out, but because we've got a white background, I've decided to make my lighter colour the shadow, and we'll make the dark colour stand out on the top. Sorry if I'm missing your comments there. Thank you to all of you who've shared the live today, sprinkling the love around. I'll be sharing it on my page when I'm finished here over at I Restore Stuff. Make sure my people can get their best stenciling tips. And don't forget there's prizes at the end, guys, so hang around. Join in the conversation. Essential Stencil are very generous, and they always have some lovely prizes. Okay, so I'm going to lift that up to show you the Choose Happy. So see how it's not so obvious, not super obvious. Actually, I do like that colour with the yellow. That could be okay just like that. We could just go with that. Although I'm going to add, oh, don't forget we've got my other sign with the wreath on it that I made earlier. If you've just joined us, I've also added this wreath. Used that as well, which is a part of the Stencil of the Month design. Might just do a quick wipe off of this, because we're going to use that dark colour. It will mean that these colours would mix together if I just left that there. And we want the dark to really stand out. So it comes off fairly easily if you do it straight away, depending on what paint you use. I've just used a water-based chalk paint, furniture paint. Don't forget to always get the back side though, because that kind of goes under. Make sure it's all cleaned off. All right. So using the exact same stencil, what I do first is I line it up exactly how it is, and I'm going to use some tape for this. Oh, there's one bit. Anyway, that's okay. I feel like I just need my little yellow end of the Y. Just needed a little touch up. Looked like I hardly got it. And because that's going to be actually in the shadow part, I want to make sure it's pretty prominent. Okay, so where is my tape? Here it is. Get that ready. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so now I'm going to line it up exactly where the Choose Happy is. And I'm going to go slightly to the left and slightly up. So see how I did that? Slightly to the left. I did it so subtly you hardly saw. Okay, I'll do it again. So I've lined it up exactly. Go slightly left, slightly up. You don't want to go too much. And then I'm going to tape this down exactly in that spot, making sure I don't tape over my flower that I've just painted, even though it's pretty dry. I don't want it to get wrecked. And I'm going to find a brush to do this dark charcoal with. So this is just a really dark charcoal grey colour. So you could use black even, that would even pop out probably also. Oh, lots of paint on that brush. Okay, so once we've got that all offloaded, and this should go on nice and smoothly. Nice little wriggles, little squiggly swirls. And that's a lot darker than the other grey that I used for the fake wood grain there. Okay, so if you've just joined us, don't panic. I'm not going over all of the yellow. I'm creating a shadowing effect that is going to make this pop out a little bit further. So if you do a sign and you've done your words and you think, wow, they don't really stand out that well, I'm a bit disappointed, you know, really thought it would stand out better than that, then maybe try this shadowing technique. Choose a contrasting colour, or simply just go over your existing stencil. Maybe it's just a case of you needed a darker colour to contrast it to the background of your sign. So there's a few different things that you can try, and this is just one of them. Choose Happy. So now it looks like we've got some fake wood in the background, gorgeous little floral design, and there's Choose Happy right here. So there we go. So I'll bring that up a little closer so you can see how that yellow is a shadow there created in the background. Here we go. So see how it's created a shadow in the background that really makes the letters pop out. There we go. So you can just see the subtle yellow, which then blends in and matches with that yellow that I've done on the flower, makes it really pop. Yes, everyone can always hear the birds in the background for my on my lives. Okay, so then there's this wreath that I did earlier. Make sure I didn't put that in something else. So I've shifted it slightly to the bottom here because what I thought I'd do is put another bit of a floral thing up the top. And instead of using one of the ones from Grace's design, so we've finished this one, I thought I'd use something from past Christmas Stencil of the Month Club sets. So if you're in the Stencil of the Month Club, this is the good thing about it. You get access to so many more stencils. And over in the club, there's a little shop tab, and if you scroll right down, you'll find this one is part of the Stencil of the Month Club for last November. We've got coffee and Christmas music, or we've got Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, and I thought you can put some little mistletoe on there. The other thing is that this last month, November, do you remember November's design? We've got all these little Christmassy tree things, some holly, some mistletoe. So I was going to use something out of November's design. So if you didn't get November's design, you have the opportunity to go to the Stencil of the Month Club shop and purchase any of their past month's stencils. So this one's from last November. If you're getting into the club now, don't forget you can join the 50% off on your first month if you use my code IRestoreStuff. So there's last November's was those words that I'm going to be using, and just this past month, November 2020, is where you can get this design, which came with a bunch of others, but I won't show you those right now for sake of time. And I thought that I could use, I don't even know what I'm going to use. Coffee and Christmas music is what I want to go with. So just wanted to maybe add a couple of Christmas branchy kind of things. So why don't I do those green? Might make them come in at an angle from the side. Just a little bit of greenery. So see how you can just kind of mix and match all of the different stencils from, whether you get them from essentialstencil.com or the stencilofthemonthclub.com. There are so many mix and match options. Who's amassed quite a large collection? There's people looking for storage solutions now for their stencils. So question from Melissa. When you shadow, does the first colour have to be lighter than the second colour? Just wondered if you put down black first, would you have a problem with the lighter colour not covering well? That's a good question, Melissa. And you can do either way, but yes, you're right. If you do black underneath the shadowing and then you do the light colour on top, you will probably have to do maybe 2 or 3 coats of that white to make sure you've covered the black. So you will still see those lines through there, but you'll be able to tell once you've done it. But it is still possible. I definitely have done that before, done a darker colour on the top. Okay, so we've just got some Christmas tree branches here coming out of our wreath. And as I said before, these are all from the Stencil of the Month Club. You can get 50% off your first month if you join using my code IRestoreStuff at the link that is right there in the description of the live, but it's also there as a pinned comment. Essential Stencil has pinned that for us right there at the top. You can use my code IRestoreStuff. Don't forget to use that. You can also use that code for our regular essentialstencil.com site, where there's a whole bunch of stencils there. They've got a little search bar at the top, and you just search. If you've got a topic, if you've got a word that you think, do they have a stencil for that? Type the word in. You'll be surprised what comes up. You can just look for that word. So here's a little tree branch. Let's go with another tree branch. Maybe we'll have that one coming out that way. And I'm leaving some room for some, oh, there we go. I've just left a little gap in there. Now you could, if this one wasn't here, I could flip that one over and do the opposite side quite easily. But we have very conveniently got the second side here. So the Stencil of the Month Club for December, I believe we've got a few days left for you to jump in on this December design that Grace designed. Before then they get ready to do January's. Can you believe 2020 is nearly over, guys? It's almost over. This time last year, Australia was battling bushfires right here for a very long time. It's crazy to think that was a year ago. Okay, so we've got our Christmas tree there, and I did want to use some kind of holly leaf. I want to still have room for my words, coffee and Christmas music. I like it. So we'll do that. Maybe add a little holly coming from the Christmas thing. So which means I'll probably have to have some red to do the berries right there, I think. So let's see if I can just do this green over the top. Probably could do even a different green if you wanted to. If you have different shades of green, wouldn't that be cool? It'd kind of make that holly leaf pop there a bit. And once again, like I did with that flower, just grab a little brush and you can go and fill in all of the leaves. Just going to hold that still. Hold it still with some painter's tape. Grab my red really quickly. Whoa. And I don't have anything but this large stencil brush, which I really don't need a huge one. Because these berries are quite tiny. I'm just going to go over that. Oh, now, I did have some paper here. I was showing you this before if you've just jumped in on the live. Now you can put a paper beside and then it will make sure that that's not going to go on top of the leaves. Well, I think I just did, but never mind. You can always touch it up with your paintbrush later. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so this is where I would go in and fill that in with the red paint, you know, little paintbrush. You can do the red so that the berries look like berries. And then you can do your leaves as well. Okay, whoop. Nearly finished, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this live today. We'll just get our words in here. Who else likes a good cup of coffee? Coffee and Christmas music. That's what the words are going to be that we've got in here. And here they are. And I think I mentioned these were from last November. So I just have to make sure that's quite dry before I go on with that. And popping my, I want to put the words, I still want them sort of in the centre of the wreath. I don't want to move them, just because that's there, I don't want to move the words too far over this way. I kind of want them in the centre, but I'll drop them just a bit lower so that that still makes sense. And see if I can find my white brush in amongst my blessed mess right here. Speaking of messes. Yes, I still have my white brush sitting in the damp cloth so that it didn't get dried out. And I'm just going to finish off this with these words. And once again, you could use that shadowing technique again with this. So, whoop. Running out of newspaper here, but I can go back over this white one. All right. Holding it still. I think I'm straight. Might just have to go that way. I'm kind of eyeballing my straightness with the wood block, hoping that the wood block's straight, you know. All right, here we go. Coffee. Must be nearly coffee o'clock here in Australia. Coffee and Christmas music. All right, real quick in the comments, what is your favourite Christmas carol? I want to hear. Would love to hear. And do you have a new one that's, you know, a new one, or are you traditional carol lover? So I always love to hear the new Christmas songs that are coming out, so there are beautiful ones. What is your favourite Christmas carol? I've got a Christmas playlist. I should have put it on during my live, right? I do love a bit of Pentatonics. Anyone got their favourite Christmas carol they want to share in the comments there? As I finish off our words. Angels we have heard on high, Silent Night. Mary, did you know? I love that. I've always loved that song. Beautiful. Oh, Holy Night. Oh, love that one too. They are all special in their own way. You're right. I'm reading all Elvis's Blue Christmas. Another one for Mary. Did you know? It just tells a great story, doesn't it? That Mary, did you know? Song. Santa on the Rooftop from Trisha. Okay. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. There you go. A new one by Carrie Underwood. I'll have to look for that one. And John Legend. I'll have to look for that one. I do like to have the traditional ones, but I also love to hear the new ones that kind of come out each year. It just for something different, you know. Okay, let's see how that turned out. Coffee and Christmas music. And I think that when the live's finished, I'll just colour those green ones in. So there's our two boards today, Coffee and Christmas music and Choose Happy. Let me just flicker up here. And Essential Stencil is about to pick some winners, 3 lucky winners today for our live. So there's Choose Happy. Don't forget that fake wood grain. That is the add-on for this month's Stencil of the Month Club. So don't forget to choose the add-on. You can have that's optional. So choose the add-on if you want that wood grain. Otherwise, there's the wreath and the different beautiful flowers. We've got coffee and Christmas music. So a couple of gorgeous little signs for you for there today, and I'm just waiting for the names of our winners to pop up. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and don't forget, if you are watching the replay, there's still a chance in the next 24 hours. If you type replay into the words once this live's finished, if you type the words replay, you've got another chance of winning within the next 24 hours. So I think I'll go have a coffee and listen to some Christmas music. What do you think? All right, our winners today, congratulations to Teresa and Virginia. They're pinned right to the top of the page there, but I have to hit the see more button to see the last name, and I want to read you all out. So we've got Teresa, Virginia, and Emily. Congratulations, lovely people. And if you didn't win, don't forget to watch the replay in the next 24 hours. Comment the word replay, and there's another chance of winning. So follow me, guys, over at I Restore Stuff on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all of the things. And I will see you next week for another great live DIY project. Bye.